Okay, so after the production, of course, we have to get the products to the consumers. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Providing transit between e-commerce businesses and customers is a booming business, not just in Nigeria, but the world now. In fact, as of 2018 in Nigeria, the logistics and supply chain sector was estimated to worth 250 billion naira. And it was worth half of that the year before. So in a year, it was 50% higher. One of the players in the industry will be talking to us now is the managing director of Red Star Express Group, Mr. Babura Awalu, and he's joining us here in the studio. Good to have you in the studio, Mr. Awalu. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, and nice to have you here.
Good to have you. Yes. So we're just talking to the stockbrokers now. They are talking about, contributing to the development of agriculture. But we do know that after the agricultural produce at the farm or even at the production stage, we have to get it to the consumers. Absolutely. Now, that's where you come in, logistics and supply chain. How active is that industry at this time?
Thank you very much for having me. The logistics industry is very active, barring other constraints that abound. I would say, yes, we are faring not badly, but there are a lot of hitches here and there. But I think we can do better.
So we know that times are harsh, economic times are harsh, not just in Nigeria. Everywhere in the world at this time. How much of a hit has the industry received? We know during the pandemic, I think your business boosted because a lot of people were indoors or they couldn't move, so they had to get logistics and get things around. But how has inflation, cost of living, how has that affected you now?
The current economic realities that is affecting Nigerian business is not only on the logistics side. If you ask me, it affects almost every business that we have around. You are aware about the insecurity that we have in the Northwest, the insecurity issue that we have in the South, East, and in the Northwest. And we have this issue of harder farmer conflicts that are hindering our movements. Red Star Express is operating in all the ecosystem of logistics. That is to say, we serve our customers by air, by road, and we are involved in the clearing and forwarding of the items and movement of items from the farm to the users. So the infrastructure issue is also another constraint. The roads are not what they are supposed to be. Even coming to channels this morning, the roads that see here is not is the typical roads that we see in Nigeria. Red Star Express, for example, has about more than 100 trailers that are traversing Nigeria across, and you could imagine, linking up and the cost of maintenance, the cost of servicing, and the cost of general maintenance of those items.
So do you have to pass this to your customers? The high cost of maintenance.
Our customers are also Nigerians. They understand this. They are part of us. So when we talk, we engage them from time to time. We engage them. We share ideas. We show them the reality of what is happening, and they agree with us. So sometimes we push what we can to the customer, but not everything.
Yeah, because if not, then you lose them. Absolutely. But there's this conversation that federal governments and regulatory bodies are stalling cargo business, especially when it has to do with fruit going outside the country. How true is that?
Well, I cannot agree less. You see, agri sector used to be the mainstay of the Nigerian economy, contributing more than 70% of the Nigerian workforce, and contributing more than 30% of the GDP. When you talk about government and hindering issues, we will have to look at how is it being done in other climes. I think there is something fundamentally missing. That is domestic export warehouse terminal. Now, this is the standard that you see when you go out of Nigeria, even in some neighboring West African countries. Now, some of the challenges that we are having there are issues of poor packaging, poor labeling, and poor storage facilities and preservatives. So the domestic export warehouse terminal is a one-stop shop that address all these issues that I have mentioned. It is a place where the regulators, agencies, and the exporters will meet, and all issues around export issues will be resolved quickly and addressed so that issues can progress.
So paint a picture of this warehouse terminal you're talking about. Who is supposed to run it? Like, where would be a most convenient location? How are people supposed to participate in it? Just help us paint a picture of
at the exits, that is at the ports, at the airports, at the seaports, all the ports that where we are exporting our items, that is where the domestic export warehouse terminal should be. And like I said, all the regulatory bodies are there, warehoused in one room, so that the processes can be done efficiently and quickly, so that these items can, you know, one advantage that if we get this in right, the economy will be diversified. And it will lead to attract investments. It has been done in the West African countries. I don't want to mention names.
So what do you think is stopping us? Is it the skill? Is it the funding? Is it the initiative? I don't think it's the initiative. We have great ideas in this country.
What is stopping us? I think the regulations and maybe disagreements here and there. I do not have the much details, but I think there was an initiative, there was a discussion around this, for this to happen before. We don't know why the thing was stalled, but there was discussion around this thing before.
What about the use of technology? We know today's world is a technology world.
Absolutely.
How much has that been inculcated into the running of the supply chain?
So you see, for example, this is where my company stands out, Resa Express. This year we are going to celebrate 3 decades of operations. And you see, take for example, in the last 2 years, we went to the market as a PLC, we generated funds, and part of what we did with the fund was to make sure that the technology is changed. As I'm taking to you now, we have a new technology that address pickup and deliveries, logistics management software, and a complete new ERP that will change the tide of so many things that we are doing and the industry as well.
So how do we get more participation, you know, in this logistics? We know that when there's more supply, then at least it will go around, and then especially attracting the youths who have those, you know, those ICT skills of these days.
Enabling environment, the right regulations. So if we have the combination of these two, actually you will see a lot of participants in this industry.
All right, we have to thank you so much, Mr. Babura Awalu, the Managing Director of Red Star Express Group, for sharing your time with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
We do hope that that warehouse terminal would, because we're looking for how to boost FX supply in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So we are talking about making exports.
We are suffering, honestly,
easy
on those sides.
And attractive.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back from that break, we have the Afro-Caribbean Trade Project. We'll find out what it is after the break. This is Business Morning on Channels Television.